Alright, here we are back with part 3. In this segment, Emmet Fox will actually teach us how to build a new mental equivalent, because that is what it's all about. Change the results in our lives by changing the mental equivalent or mental attitude or mental state of mind from which we operate. So let's begin. It is your bounden duty to demonstrate, and in order to do so successfully, you need to know why you should do so. Why should you demonstrate at all? Some people say, since God is all and everything is perfect, why should I seek to demonstrate His law? Because you have to prove the harmony of being in your own life. That is why. If there were no need to demonstrate, one might just as well go to bed and stay there, or more simply still, stroll around to the nearest undertaker. Of course, we are here on earth to express God, and true expression is what we call demonstration, because it demonstrates the law of being. It is your duty to be healthy, prosperous and free. It is your duty to express God to the utmost of your power, and you have no right to relinquish your efforts until you have accomplished this. Until you have excellent health and are visibly regenerating, until you find your true place and right activity, until you are free from conscious fear, anxiety and criticism, you are not demonstrating, and you must find out why and correct the error, whatever it is. Jesus has told us that we always demonstrate our consciousness, and Unity is teaching the same truth today. You always demonstrate what you habitually have in your mind. What sort of mind have you? I'm not going to tell you, and do not let anyone else tell you either, because they do not know. People who like you will think your mentality is better than it is. Those who do not like you will think it is worse. So do not ask anybody about your mentality, but examine your conditions and see what you are demonstrating. This method is scientific and infallible. If an automobile engineer is working out a new design for an engine, if he is going to do something different about the valves, for instance, he doesn't say, I wonder what Smith thinks about this. I like Smith. If Smith is against this, I won't try it. Nor does he say, I won't try this idea because it comes from France, and I don't like those people. He's impersonal and perfectly unemotional about it. He says, I will test it out and decide by the results I obtain. Then he tries it out, measuring the results carefully, and decides accordingly. He does not laugh or cry or get excited, or bang the table, but he tests out the idea scientifically and judges only by results. That is how you should handle your mentality. That is how you should practice the metaphysical teaching. You demonstrate the state of your mind at any given time. You experience in the outer what you really think in the inner. This is the meaning of the old saying, as within, so without. Note carefully that in the Bible the word within always means thought and the word without means manifestation or experience. That is why Jesus said that the kingdom of heaven, health, harmony and freedom is within. Harmonious thought means harmonious experience. Fear thought or anger thought means suffering or frustration. This brings me to the most important thing I want to say, namely that if you want to change your life, if you want to be healthier, happier, younger, more prosperous, above all, if you want to get nearer to God, and I know that you do, you must change your thought and keep it changed. That is the secret of controlling your life, and there is no other way. Jesus himself could not have done it in any other way because this is a cosmic law. Change your thought and keep it changed. We have all been taught this very thing since the metaphysical movement began. I heard it stated in those very words many times nearly 40 years ago in London, but most of us are so slow to realize the importance of it. If you want to change some condition in your life, you must change your thought about it and keep it changed. Then the condition will change accordingly. All that anyone else can do for you is to help you change your thought. That is what a metaphysician can do for you, but you yourself must keep it changed. No one else can think for you. No man can save his brother's soul or pay his brother's debt. To change your thought and keep it changed is the way to build a new mental equivalent. It is the secret of accomplishment. You already have a mental equivalent for everything that is in your life today, and you must destroy the patterns for the things you do not want, and then they will disappear. You must build a new pattern or mental equivalent for the things you want, and then they will come into your life. Of course, changing your thought for a short time is the easiest thing in the world. Everyone does this when he goes to a metaphysical meeting. The beautiful atmosphere and the positive instruction make people feel optimistic. The teacher reminds the audience of the truth of being, and they think, I believe that, and I'm going to practice it. But 5 minutes after they have left the meeting, they forget about it. perhaps for hours. The trouble with most students is not that they do not change their thought, but they do not keep it changed. If you want health, you must cease to think sickness and fear, and you must get the habit of thinking health and harmony. There can be no sickness without fear. You cannot be adversely affected by anything if you really have no fear concerning it. Everyone has many fears in the subconscious mind that he's not consciously aware of, but they are operating just the same. A man said, "I entered a town in a foreign country in the east of Europe during a typhoid epidemic. I did not know there was any typhoid. I never thought about it. I didn't know the language and couldn't read the papers. They were printed in Greek. Yet I got typhoid and had quite a siege. How do you account for that?" The explanation is that he believed in typhoid fever. He believed one can catch it from others, and that it makes one very ill for so many days, and therefore he had a subconscious fear of it. He subconsciously knew there was a typhoid around, and as it always does, the subconscious enacted or dramatized his real beliefs and fears, and presented him with a good hearty case of typhoid. If he had really believed that he was a child of God, who could not be hurt by anything, he would not have had the disease. Change your thought and keep it changed, not for 10 seconds or even 10 days, but steadily and permanently. Then you will build a new mental equivalent, and a mental equivalent is always demonstrated. The secret of harmony and success is to concentrate your thought upon harmony and success. That is why I teach that attention is the key to life. What you attend to or concentrate upon, you bring into your life, because you're building a mental equivalent. Many people fail to concentrate successfully because they think that concentration means willpower. They actually try to concentrate with their muscles and blood vessels. They frown, they clench their hands. Unwittingly, they are thinking of an engineer's drill or a carpenter's bit and brace. They suppose that the harder you press, the faster you get through, but all this is quite wrong. Forget the drill and think of a photographic camera. In a camera there is of course no question of pressure. There the secret lies in focus. If you want to photograph something, you focus your camera lens quietly, steadily and persistently on it for the necessary length of time. Suppose I want to photograph a vase of flowers. What do? Well, I do not press it violently against the lens of the camera. That would be silly. I place the vase in front of the camera and keep it there. But suppose that after a few moments I snatch away the vase and hold a book in front of it, and then snatch that away and hold up a chair and then put flowers back for a few moments and so forth. Well, you know what will happen to my photograph. It will be a crazy blur. Is not that what people do to their minds when they cannot keep their thoughts concentrated for any length of time? They think for a few minutes and then they think sickness or fear. They think prosperity and then they think depression. They think about bodily perfection and then they think about old age and their pains and aches. Is it any wonder that man is so apt to demonstrate the marred image? Notice carefully that I did not advocate taking one thought and trying to hold it by willpower. That is bad. You must allow a train of relevant thoughts to have free play in your mind, one leading naturally to the next, but they must all be positive, constructive and harmonious, and are pertaining to your desire, and you must think quietly and without effort. Then you will get the mental equivalent of all-round success, and then success itself will follow. Success in health, in social relationships, in your work, and in your spiritual development. Now that is the end of this chapter. It's very interesting again, because I made a video in 2019 actually concerning this mental equivalent. If you haven't seen that video in particular, well, I'll have it linked in the description box below, so you can check that presentation out as well, because it dives deeper into this concept of changing your thought and keeping it changed. That saying, that line, is just so awesome, I think personally. It's so powerful if you think about it. Whenever you're dealing with some issues which are more often than not mental in nature first and foremost, if you then remember and remind yourself that I have to change my thought and keep it changed, that actually gives you a lot of power to understand what needs to be done, even when you seem to have lost your way. We all do at times, but if we remember and remind ourselves of this power, we can get back on track again. That's what it's all about. We want to do our best to control the mind, to train the mind, and by using this method as Emmet Fox has shared through this lecture, we'll be able to do that. It's absolutely incredible. Now after this video there will be one more about maintaining the new mental equivalent, and that will be it for this series that Emmet Fox shared, as I said, decades ago. So I hope you're ready for that, and until then, have a great day and apply the teachings, experiment with them, think about them, and see what they can do in your life. Absolutely incredible things, that's for sure. Now, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.